Brought to you direct from Studio 3B at Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, the American Hardwood Advisor is your source for trends, tips, and insights into how the building industry has evolved. Join me, Steve Stack, along with guest builders and industry leaders as we talk shop and go in depth on what it takes to be the best of the best. Dive into topics like architecture, industry trends, project plans, historical tools, tricks of the trade, and life's lessons from more than 6 decades of experience in the hardwood lumber business. Hey folks, Steve Stack, Studio 3B, Baird Brothers Fine Hardwood, Canfield, Ohio. We're gonna sit down here today with the leaders of the Renovation Hunters. I guess that's a good way, appropriate way, with Mr. Chris Filardi to my far right, and Kevin Tarkovich, and the GC on the project, and then this guy you might know, Hal Shaffer from the other outdoor channel show, Drop Zone, right?
Yes, sir.
And wow, where'd this year go?
Yeah.
Huh?
It went in a hurry.
So we did that project out in Hyannis, and then next thing we know, we're coming back across the country, and we land in Critz, Virginia.
Couldn't be, you could not have the most opposite topography, build, everything about it was a total 180 degree from where we were at.
You guys jointly, tell me the process, how you wound up in Critz, Virginia.
Well, they send in all these videos to a landing page, right? And I think all of us looked at it. I know Kevin and I did. I don't know if you got to look at all of them, but after looking at them, I told Kev, I said, Kev, we need to lean on you on some of this because, I can help with the story, which stories seem to work, but it also needed to be something that we could do, right? Because structurally, he's the man he's gonna determine that part, right? What is this something we can do? So we got it narrowed down to a few, and the Critz thing was crazy. It was 100%, we didn't know who the guy was. You didn't, I didn't, Chris didn't. But after we chose it come to find out that everybody I knew these people, and one of our partners, Sweet Dreams Furniture, were their neighbors. And it was crazy. It's just like everything we do with this thing, something aligns that we had nothing to do with, and we're like, how does this happen, right? How does it happen? Sometimes things are just meant to happen. And this particular build, 100%, without a doubt, nobody can argue with me. There was some direction from up above that led us to that because of the relationships these people had with other people that we knew with Sweet Dreams Furniture, and the story behind the family was incredible. But just the story they sent us was, when you went into it, and it was pretty moving, and it was so perfectly different than what we had just done that it was the thing that me and him rode up there. We just like we did before. We didn't tell him, hey, we got to come up here and look at your place. We got to see this place. We got to look at it. 172-year-old cabin. You do not absolutely have any idea what you're getting into.
I've got to compliment you at the end of this statement, and there is such contrast from Hyannis, larger structure, needed help, to having experienced the cabin in Critz firsthand, and when Baird showed up on site and you guys walked us through, it's like, this is a challenge 180 degrees away from the Hyannis challenge. You had to recognize and respect that 172-year-old cabin.
No doubt. Honor it.
Right? Perfect. honor it. And kudos to you guys, you did it. You didn't go in and remodel. You went in and tweaked.
Yeah.
And that's all that place did. And you tweaked it in different ways. We had less material involvement, but it was key.
I laugh. The less material. It was half a pallet of premium hardwood, hickory, beautiful stuff, but it's delivered out of the back of a crazy FedEx driver's truck.
Oh my God.
But the fact
never
that
forget that.
it was just a palletized stock of wood versus a tractor trailer load, you know.
But it's, you know, as far as our product went, and you guys added so many amenities,
Right.
conveniences.
But the
to that.
impact of your product was no less than what it was in INS.
You know.
It was a smaller amount, but the impact was every bit as great or greater.
You know, the recognizing the elements of the cabin, and a few of you, one, two, three of them, all three of them may have shared some photos with me when you guys walked it to preview it.
Oh yeah.
That baker's cabinet, the wood coal cook stove,
Oh yeah.
right? The old wash sink over on the one side,
The ice chest.
and the ice chest, right? It had all the charm it needed. The charm just needed to be highlighted a little bit.
Well, the problem with this is it met the criteria for a bunch of guys to go hunting. It was
Yes.
fine for that,
Yep.
right? But our mission statement and our vision was not just for guys. It was to gather families. And so, as Kevin said, we needed to add creature comforts to this. And then on top of that, it was way more than a structure. We involved the whole property in this renovation.
Yes.
Even just like the On the Spot boys did the custom hay bale blind for Hyannis, that crazy modern blinds that nobody else can build. That they're incredible. They took it a step further on this one and created something that once again was super friendly for kids, but yet met every need plus that any guy could ever want, and meet the needs of getting the females introduced to the outdoors as well, and not have to deal with the climate and everything else that's going on. That's what this all was about. This was it. We say it was a smaller transfer. I don't think it was smaller. I really don't. When we encompass what we did property-wise, structure-wise, skin and shed, shooting house, the property there was a lot of work went on for 5 straight days on that property.
Yeah, you took me for a ride in the side-by-side and the food plots, the positioning and installation, the shooting lanes,
creating funnels and squeeze points.
It was a whole package.
Oh yeah, we did a lot to make that. For one thing, you want to keep kids happy and the ladies interested. They don't need to be bored, right? So we created opportunities that would keep wildlife in front of them more often and give them more opportunity to harvest animals, right? So we created a more exciting hunting experience and visual experience, even if they don't want to hunt, where they can go watch wildlife, right? So that's part of that. Everything we did, we thought about to create a better, more interesting experience, especially for the youth, right? Because you got to remember the attention span these days, where no matter whose fault it is way less than it used to be, and kids get bored way easier than they used to. Yeah. So
quick segue.
Whether it's good or not, we have to do it. We have to create ways that we can keep them interested and quit worrying about why they're that way.
Right. You were saying.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we learned after all the builds, it's the filter that you look at the project. So a tip to consumers that want to send the videos, we have a construction filter. We have a story filter. We have, what do you want to do on the property? What have you always wanted to do? What's your family history? What's your kids' situation like? In this one, they had a whole bunch of kids. They loved the place, but guess what? They couldn't shower. They had no power. Why would they go, right?
And folks, my first look at this property, I think was day 2 for you folks.
Yeah.
And you're down there in Critz, Virginia, very rural area.
Oh yeah.
And you're coming up this 2-lane road, and there's the driveway. You know, you went through some feeder creeks getting back up to it, and it's wooded. And you come up to the top and you open that clearing where the cabin's sat.
Yeah.
And that little pond adjacent to the cabin. And it's like, I'm not going home.
No.
And you guys made it so you don't have to go home right
Right.
away if you don't want to.
To be able to generate a wow factor. When you roll into things, I can't remember your exact words. You pulled me to the side and you're like, this is a little gem. This place, as it sat in the raw before we started.
Yeah.
Because we had the makers in there, you know, coming from Hyannis, we were able to, we were still licking our wounds.
No doubt.
We were beat down.
You were beat up.
We were beat up, beat down, but I was able to put them more in an element on this project where they were doing more creative shop work. They were busy as crazy. I mean, building screen doors, building kitchen counter vanities, building custom tables, window screens, bathroom vanity, those things that were well within their wheelhouse, their comfort level. They had a level of enthusiasm that, you know, it just wasn't there in Hyannis because of so much work and being out of their comfort zone. But being able to put together something that when you turned that corner after the renovation was done, that they just went, oh my gosh.
And that goes back to what I said earlier. It was a gem sitting there.
No doubt.
And you had to approach it with kid gloves.
Yeah.
And you guys did a great job on it. You know, as far as Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods were concerned, we had conversation, okay? After seeing the photographs, what kind of tops are gonna work best in this kitchen?
Yeah, one thing to do there.
Right? We stayed with nature and the characters of nature, and we put that beautiful character grade hickory top in there, right? Gorgeous. And then to you guys' approach to the show and to family and to tradition and table time, as I'll call it. We sent down some heavy 8-quarter maple.
Oh, that table's so.
Right?
Oh my God, table's
you know,
so crazy.
and the
Adam
makers,
did
they
such an
created
amazing job
a
on that.
table, right? Adam did a beautiful job on that. And then, you know, when you guys are talking, we're listening. You know, you guys drive family, you guys drive kids. Well, we had conversation back here at the shop, okay, with ownership, with our marketing partners, Ice Energy, and we're talking kids, we're talking farm pond, or you know, that great little pond adjacent to the cabin, and we're talking fishing. So with Baird Brothers, one of our Build It With Baird projects suddenly became a fishing rod and rack reel.
And that was such an awesome feature because we get so consumed on the build aspect.
structure.
And he's working in the food plots. I mean, he's covered in sweat and tears and thorns and everything else. And I mean, we're sawdust covered. And you roll in and you open up back of the truck, and here you have this fishing rack and all these reels.
Fishing
I'm
rod?
like,
Oh man.
fishing rods and bobbers, and I'm like, oh, scene stealer, you know. Thanks a lot.
Glory grabber, glory grabber.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to conversations we've shared numerous times with Renovation Hunters and the Outdoor Channel and your approach. And when Chris first approached Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods and he laid out the plan and the map and the reasons, we said, this is us. This is Baird Brothers. This is family. This is tradition. This is doing stuff for the right reason.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly.
And so those decisions, you know, you put that pallet out in front of us in the case of Critz, Virginia, and said, oh, this is a no-brainer, you know. So
Yeah.
So you know, how rewarding is it and I don't know if you guys have experienced, you reinforced that deck and did some deck work and that little pier that shot out, jetted out onto the pond. You know, pull in there and see 3 little tykes running around with fishing poles in their hands, fishing in that pond.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing, the creature conference we did. You think about this, the number one reason the ladies did not want to come stay there was there's no place to take a shower.
Yeah.
They couldn't take a clean. So you know what? Our friends at Cape Cod Outdoor Showers sent us this amazing shower set that we set up there. Kevin did some unbelievable plumbing. I don't even know. I don't even. No, wait a minute. I don't want to know. Everything, the filters and the reservoir tanks and how that thing was plumbed together. And you know what? At the twist of a knob, they had great water pressure. They had hot water. They had cold water. And that Cape Cod shower looked amazing out there. I mean, it really did. It looked absolutely amazing. And
It blended right into
the cabin. Yeah, it was like, okay, that's actually supposed to be there.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, how long's that been here?
But the thing about it, being back there, you're not worried about the ladies are taking an outdoor shower. They're not worried about it. It is truly a cool experience to take a shower out in nature and feel secure and have the conference. It is actually, to me, it's like meditation.
Right.
It is. That out there where that's at, in that bowl, in the middle of nowhere, it is cool. I mean, you may have a bear come peep over and say hey, but other than that, that was just really cool.
So, you know, with the shower, that's, you know, Hal comes up with these ideas sometimes because I'm going to put a shower in. I'm like, this cabin is 300 square feet. I don't know where we're going to put a shower. And he's like, no, I got this. I'm like, I got to come up with some water system. I got to do this. Like, you can do it. I got the shower. Hey, the shower's here. We need to get it. Oh, by the way, they sent us 2 hot water systems. So I want to do a skinning shack and then have hot water down there too. I'm like, a skinning shack? When did this come? Oh no, I got a great idea. Here's a skit.
That's the one thing when I have a great idea, Kevin's going to learn to get in his truck and leave because you know, I'm proud of the ideas, but I'm telling you, it's what I told you. You tell the guy that we want something, and 30 minutes later he's got it drawn out, and this is how we're going to do it.
I just had an eerie hair on the back of the neck kind of rising thing.
Yep.
And we talked about it on one of your recent visits to Canfield here at the shops. Critz, Virginia is a miniature Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. You guys went into Critz, Virginia, 172-year-old cabin, was smart enough to leave well enough alone, and you, no pun intended, you showered the place with amenities.
Yeah.
Okay? So you've got the most technologically advanced, solar-powered, right, heating
Nature's
system,
generator system.
right?
Yeah, nature's generator is a great
Right?
system.
An outdoor shower, running water, all the modern conveniences. We've got woodworking equipment in there from 1908, early
1909,
1909,
yeah.
Right? And you guys witnessed it on your visits. We've got some of the most technologically advanced equipment.
Yeah.
You-
Off-grid
Both
energy.
of you
Don't mess
off-grid,
with the old.
self-sufficient.
Don't mess with the
Yep.
old.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is even your sawdust is used. Either you're selling it to the farmers and they're using it for livestock, or you're burning it to create more energy or heat or whatever it is that you use it for. Everywhere you turn, there's something here, and it's a lesson to be learned to what we all can do, and it's certainly something that we will heed and take into consideration on a lot of these things, because you got to realize most of these vacation places, whether hunting camp, fishing camp, whatever it is, whatever gets people outdoors, that's what we're excited
bottom
about,
line.
right?
Yep.
That's right. Most of these are not going to be in the center of town, right? We're not going to have these convenient. We're going to have a lot more of this. We don't have power here. We don't have water here. We don't have this here. I mean, it's going to be a lot of that, and including different partners. You know, you guys were giving me credit for the food plots, but Expedition Land Management, old Chris Van Gerpen come out with one of his buddies, and between him and I, them boys know what they're doing, and we come up with some really cool places, and I can't wait because deer season actually just started for them, and I can't wait to see the fruits of what we bore, everything we of what we did and things for them. I'm so excited about it. They've been sending pictures of bears and deer and all the animals in the food plots, so it's pretty cool. And the thing about that is we gave them a plan from year to year, a 3-year plan on how
property management.
Property management,
Yeah.
and that was left with them on how to continue to improve his property. The dirt there was the worst dirt that we had ever tested. It absolutely was the worst.
You'd have a better
dirt.
chance of growing on blacktop.
Oh, that's exactly right. The
bad.
acidic level of that dirt was so unbelievable. We had to increase the organic matter. So we put organic matter, rotten hay, on top of everything, and then the stuff that we planted, not only would it provide nutrition and food for the animals, it was going to provide organic matter
For the
soil, because we need to build topsoil, and organic matter is the only way
So
to do it.
don't downplay the organic matter because it's 95 degrees. There's virtually no air rolling through that mountain hollow. They're out there rolling around these
These are
3 or
giant-
4-year-old hay bales
Yep.
that are, if you've ever been in old hay, it is
Nasty.
nasty. It's infested with everything that crawls, bites, stings.
You got it. It was all in there.
Not
tell you
to
that.
mention the remnants of the poison that was probably in the hayfield when they did it.
Yep.
And these guys are busting their tail, manhandling this to spread out in someone's food plot.
Hey,
So-
speaking of organic matter, do you know how hard it is to get a porta potty at some of these places?
Not only one,
Look, they're like, well, is there?
Only Chris can take us there.
According to my GPS, there's no building there. Oh, yeah. Have you been there? Well, I haven't, but Kevin told me there's one there. Yeah. Can you turn around? Oh, yeah, you can turn around. Absolutely.
And you know what? There we go. Right back to Project One back in Hyannis. Okay. What do we need? What do we need? You guys, we rolled into Critz. A couple porta potties down there. Wash station, water station, right?
Dumpster, tents, generator.
Yeah.
I think the only thing we didn't have that we probably needed coming from Hyannis to here, there were still people suffering from PTSD from Hyannis, was probably a psychologist. I think that's the only thing we didn't do. I tried, but you can't expect a crazy person to fix crazy. So but everybody, boy, by day 3 again, by day 3, things started rolling and people started smiling and
Well, I told
It was
them
so
they
good.
had- I told them they had to.
yeah, you told them they didn't have a choice, but anyway, we got it done. But you think about it, I think our break on this one, the family come and joined us on the break. Matt Tucker Band
Yep.
did an amazing job. Matt, it's my cousin, did an incredible job. And now he has written our theme song called Tiny Towns. That is going to
Nice.
be released the week after the show airs. Is going to be released. And it is, oh my gosh, it is one of the best country songs I've ever heard. It is one of the catchiest tunes. Can't
It's
wait.
so real.
It
The
is
words
so
are
real.
real,
And
man.
the story is so 100% Renovation Hunters.
When you overlay
The whole-
that
it is-
soundtrack with some of the video footage that is
unbelievable.
generated, it's like, okay, what was created first? The song or
the
Renovation
chills,
Hunters?
the
Yeah.
chills that run down your back listening to that song, knowing what we've all experienced there and the emotion that we've already encompassed and locked away in our heart. I mean, it's a tearjerker. It is just so what tiny towns are all about.
Now you got me. Now you really got me stoked to listen and see that. And I wasn't able to stick around in person for the reveal on that project, but with what you guys have shared and I've seen.
Now, the reveal process. Okay, so we had a simple reveal in Hyannis. Now we have cars parked a mile away. We got families, kids, grandparents. Hal says, I need to go out and get 20 blindfolds.
So You know, they don't know me well because they trusted me to blindfold them and then to lead them somewhere. So I was like, man, I'm feeling really good about myself. But they did it. They blindfolded them.
Blindfolded them, took them down. We had them all lined up behind the Renovation Hunters trailer. My wife came up to visit. She's now the truck driver. So we set out, lined everybody up. I mean, they don't know what to expect. There's some tears. I don't know if they're scared or happy or what. She pulls the truck out of the way, and they get to see this cabin.
With a new red roof.
New red roof, new porch, new grill area, and all the Renovation Hunters lined up, welcoming them. Welcome to your new old cabin.
Oh,
You know,
there's the skin and shed.
Yeah.
Man, that skin and shed was like, I had skin and shed envy. When we done, because at none of our camps do I have a skin and shed anywhere close to that.
So right there, and let me interrupt just a second. You had Richard with wall control incorporated into that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right? You had your partners over at Case
Knives.
involved in that.
Yep.
You know, and
It's all about our partners. And so Richard, I told him what we needed, and he come up with all the attachments. Him and Stephanie were down there knocking this thing out. And while they were there, they did the drop zone trailer. See, I'm still on that show. The Renovation Hunters trailer, and went in there, and Stephanie went in there and just, oh my gosh, made that
we're wall to wall.
Wall control, and everything was organized. You could go find something. It wasn't looking in the bottom of a bag for something, you know, because you get to think about it. We have a lot of Crescent tools out there, and when you go to try to find the tool you want, you're digging through bags. But not no more, because it is all laid out on the wall control there. But I challenged them to this skinning shed. And so what's the one thing that happens to you when you're skinning deer? I mean, you get pretty nasty, right?
Yeah, right.
It does that. So we, on the backside, we had a shower, an outdoor shower, to wash off after processing all your meat, because that's the reason we hunt, right? And then on the front side, you had a sink to continue washing the meat, processing it. You got cold water, you got hot water. We had Mr. Heater there to keep you warm while you're doing it. We actually had a hoist and a crank system, and then we also had 2 hooks on the bottom of each of the big pillars that were holding the skinning shed up, and that's where you use to tie your carcass off so you could better work and when you're processing your meat.
Right.
I mean, we really sat there and thought about everything that aggravated me when I'm doing this. When I don't have it. I still don't have it. When I'm doing things in other places. And that thing conquered all. And I'm going to tell you, I think Daryl, that may have been his favorite part.
He cried.
He cried. He cried at the skinning shed. You know how good a skinning shed's got to be to make a grown man cry? Come on. I'm telling you. Roll Tide. That was amazing. We so often think that was the smallest renovation. When in my mind, it was actually the most encompassing.
Yeah.
From property to just usability, creature comforts. It made the experience so different for them that it was unbelievable. And then we go to on the spot, Mike and Camper. Every time they build us another custom hunting blind, it is even that much better. It is crazy the stuff they put in it.
I made the comment when you took me down there and showed me that blind. I said, this thing's downtown New York City. It's $3,000 a month.
Yes, exactly. Right? It really is.
No, if you want to take family, if they're on the fence about going hunting, you break them up in with that. You've just lost. You're not hunting by yourself anymore.
You don't
do
the thing. You got to use the opposite. Like we broke everybody in with boot camp. You don't break people into hunting with boot camp. That'll send them the other way.
That'll sour them.
You got to start them up here and bring them back to let the draw of nature to bring them back, right? To bring them to, they want more nature, more nature, more nature, more nature. That's what you want. And the only thing I'll say is, I got elected to be the guy driving the skid steer carrying that heavy thing that nothing else, the tractor wouldn't even lift on that uneven ground. And now I tell you right now, that was spooky.
A little bit nervous.
That was a little bit. When I got up, half the seat come up with me. I'm just going to say that.
Well, guys, I got to congratulate you on another successful project. Critz, Virginia, the Joyce family, right?
What a family.
And kudos. Number 2, check it.
Number 2
In the
down.
book, baby.
Right?
One more to go, and 2022 is in the books. It's getting exciting now.
Yeah. We're headed that way. We're going to be there soon. Folks, again, Renovation Hunters. These guys across the board, Chris Filardi, Mr. Kevin Tarkovich, Hal Shaffer, Steve Stack, Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, Instagram, Facebook.
We're all there.
Follow along on the websites, right? we got one more of these to go this year yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right?
One more.
Okay, stick around, folks. We'll be back at you.
For all you folks listening, thanks for talking shop with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. If you've enjoyed this episode and want to stay up to date with the American Hardwood Advisor series, give us a like and subscribe. For more tips, projects, and inspiration, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or at bairdbrothers.com. Until next time,